Hey, welcome to Three Cop Commentary. So let's talk about Tales from the Dark Father, Part 3, The Lesson. So Part 2 was him talking about, things that we want in our society, the white picket fence, the house on the hill, all those things are lies. We so how are we building off of that in part 3? So in part 3 he says man is born worthless but can discover his value not by trials of love, but by trial by fire. You either cleanse or consume you. So we're talking about tests, right? Finding out who you really are by putting yourself under pressure, putting yourself under, you know, great stress. And he says his father taught him that he was wrong for fighting against his true nature, and that he was a cruel man because you deemed it so. So we're talking about, he tried to fight being the dragon, tried to fight being who he is. Maybe even wanted to be like us, the people who lied about the white picket fence and wanting the American dream and all that kind of stuff. And he says, I'm a cruel man because you deemed it so, meaning that the kind of things that I do or what I believe or whatever the case may be is cruel because you think so, not because I am, but because of your perceptions. Then he says that he's cut from steel while you are made from dirt. Right, so that's obviously a biblical reference about God making man from clay or dust. So that's a very interesting, obviously, he's saying that he's not a man, right? He's obviously not a man because he's not made from dirt. He's made from steel. But he's also going to say that he was a dragon. So I don't know, is he a steel dragon? But I'm guessing that's just a metaphor. But obviously, the concept of man being made from dirt is that comes from literally from the Bible. So then he says that I was chosen, and I saw greatness and chose it, and you chose mediocrity. It's easy to watch life happen, and he said he could help us, but he won't because you aren't a participant. You're just a spectator. So basically saying that you're impotent, you refuse to act, that, he made a decision. He saw greatness and chose it, meaning that, similar to what you would call the Joseph Campbell, you get the call to a venture, right? And you leave from, Moses, you went through this. You leave where you are comfortable and you go out and you hunt or search or you go on a quest, and it's when you gain your powers, your abilities, your skills, or whatever. And then, you can be useful to your people. I wish I could give you a pretty good example off the top of my head, but you can look at it from the perspective of the Joseph Campbell Hero with a Thousand Faces, right? Where he says from the beginning, man is born worthless. So you talk about an ordinary guy. There's no real value to his life. And he chooses, he gets the call, what Joseph Campbell calls the call, meaning he's met some type of inciting incident. And he chooses to go on this adventure. During the adventure, he learns about himself. He learns about his inner wants, his inner desires. He also has an external goal. He achieves both of those, and then he's able to come back and teach or tell stories about all the things that he's experienced. And uh, what Aleister Black is saying is that he did that. You chose mediocrity, meaning you chose the white picket fence, the dogs, and the boring life. I chose greatness. I went and I trained. That's what the cartoon is showing you. The cartoon is showing you that he's training. He's a fighter, and that's what he chose greatness. It is easy to watch life happen. Basically, once you are comfortable with your white picket fence and your house on the hill and your 2.5 children and your dog and your 9 to 5 job, you're just a spectator at that point. You're not living anymore, right? So he says, I could, it's almost like Fight Club at this point, right? Because that, what was one of the main themes of Fight Club? It was that, you're a generation of men raised by women. I think the last thing we need is more women. But it was also about guys who were trapped in their 9 to 5 boring lives, trying to find something to jazz their life up, to spice their life up, and they would go to Fight Club because it was a way of being an animal. It was a way of introducing actual danger into their lives, shaking up the mediocrity that their lives had become. And if you look at the cartoon, that's what you see. You see him as like almost like a Sagat style TIE fighter, where he got like his fist taped up, and he's doing martial arts and that kind of stuff, which of course makes sense because that's what Aleister Black does in his matches. And you see that, and you bring it all together. Like this is what he was born to do. He was born to go out and become the dragon, be the dragon, be the guy who chooses greatness, while you chose mediocrity. And this has been very interesting stuff, and it is slowly but surely. It's very cryptic, and I think it does leave some people out. I've seen a lot of people say, hey, he needs to get in the ring, which is basically, hey, I give up on following this. It's just get in the ring. But it might be a little too too cryptic. I think we talked about this before with Bray Wyatt, and how he would sometimes give you too many riddles. But there's enough here, and it's a very interesting presentation with Aleister Black. And I don't think that the week off harmed him at all. I think that the week off basically just gave us something to look forward to. So I wonder how many of these he's going to do. How many lessons or how many chapters do we have? But I thoroughly thought this was pretty dope. I thought all of them was dope so far. But then again, I can sit down and see these things, and as long as I can hear what he's saying, I can connect certain things to my experiences and things that I've learned from books that I've read and different things like that. So it's very interesting to me, but I don't know if it's very interesting to everybody else. But I like this stuff. This is mythology. He's creating a mythos of a villainous character who was faced with temptation of a life of mediocrity or a life of greatness. He chose greatness. Even if mediocrity would have been better for him in the long term, or if mediocrity would have been good. It's a choice between good and evil in some ways. Did he sell his soul for greatness? Who knows? Maybe that's what we talk about next time. But that's next time. Thank you guys for your time. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Send cash via the Cash App or through Subscribestar, which, either one is fine with me. And I thank you guys for your time, man, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.